Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Madison Wins with the Floriology Institute, and I'm here with Tony Hines.
Hey guys.
Today we'll be going over our fourth part in our 5-part Facebook series. We'll be talking about simple ways to increase Facebook engagement on your business page.
Facebook engagement is such an important part of your social media strategy. It can really help you to increase your organic reach. So we're going to go over four main ways to increase your engagement, and then we'll list off some of the other and not really go into too much detail about them, but we'll just kind of go through the most important ones that we think could help you florist out the most. So starting off, I'm using an example from Nike. One thing that they do well is they are able to teach, inform, and inspire their viewers by not using salesy pitches. That's something that we really do want you all to get away from. No one likes to get on Facebook and just have, messages of buying their products just thrown in your face time after time after time again. It gets very stale and very boring. So by using different humanistic approaches, by creating stories about people and just describing people's lives and things like that, will ultimately capture your audience more. So one thing that Nike does great is in this post, they don't mention selling their products or anything. They're just making a post about brand awareness, and as you can see right here, 19,000 people liked it, 1,000 comments, and 8,000 shares. I mean, this is a great post, and all it's saying is never beat Houston, never give up. It's just a very brand awareness type of post and not really salesy, and we've seen that these do well on Facebook. Another example would be from Oakley. So they like to keep their post short and sweet. So this is another example of creating more engagement.
And in this post, they also connect to their followers when they ask a question. So when they say who's ready to shred, drop a snowflake below. That's one of their engagement strategies to get their followers to write on their posts and to connect with them. And they also, it's very important to respond to your followers and also to keep it short and to the point. 88% of people use Facebook on their cell phones, so you only really have 1 to 2 seconds to capture their attention before they decide if they want to read it or keep going.
This is another example of something pretty similar to Oakley's, as that they're asking questions and they're being conversational and responsive. So if your customer is taking time to write a comment, share how they feel about something, you should take the time to respond to them. And Chevrolet does a good job of that, of just being conversational and being there for their audience to respond to and to actually have these conversations with. So as you can see in this post, they say that you have questions, we have answers. Head over to their Facebook group and start a conversation with them. This is great because you're not just, as we said in the first bullet, you're not just pushing salesy things down their throats. You're not just throwing things in their faces. You're actually having a conversation with your followers and knowing what they like, asking them the questions, like what they want to see, and pretty much just being a human brand.
Yeah, and you want to connect with your followers. That's also very important, so that when they're following you, they just don't see you as a spammy business. You want to have a relationship with them.
Another thing that you could use to increase engagement for your Facebook post is adding engaging videos and photos. So with Facebook, normally, when you're on Facebook, you have a lot of people that you're following constantly every single day. So you see hundreds and hundreds of messages every single day. If you're just scrolling through, and as we said before, you're only spending between 1 to 2 seconds per post. So if you're just scrolling through your feed and you're seeing the same thing over and over again, just blocks of text, you're just going to scroll right past it. So by adding engaging videos and photos, this is going to enable you to stop your followers from just scrolling past your post and actually taking a second to look and see what you're actually trying to say. So Apple does a good job of that. Most of their posts that they use videos and photos. And as you can see, they get great engagement, a lot of comments, and a lot of shares. So just imagine that you were just scrolling through Facebook and you see something moving, something grabs your attention, you're more inclined to stop and see exactly what that is. But yeah, so there's a lot of different ways that you can incorporate these tactics to create engagement. As I said before, we're not going to go through and mention all of them in depth, but there are a couple of other things that you could do to help increase engagement.
So posting consistently is so important. So you could try out different days and different times. So you could try out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and maybe try 11 o'clock. You really just have to feel it out to see like your location, to see where people are on their phones the most. We tend to find that people are on their phones a lot during the day at work. So if you post around 11 or 12, people are on their lunch breaks and they're just like checking in with their families and they're on their phones. So it's just about posting consistently and putting your brand out there and reminding people that you're there and not to forget you.
Another thing you could do would be cross-posting and posting on different outlets, different social media outlets. So you could post things on Twitter, post things on Instagram, and kind of just get your message out there in multiple different platforms. You could also use Facebook stories. These are another way of grabbing people's attention, something that's a little bit more dynamic and you have a little bit more control. You also want to add in call to actions to your Facebook post. So these are things that drive people to actually do what you want them to do. So whether it be make a sale, if you want someone to buy your product, you will put a call to action saying buy here, purchase now, shop today, or whatever your goal may be for your post. You want to make sure you have like a call to action. You could also get verified, and this is something that starting in 2020, I believe, will be going away from Facebook, and they're going to have a different verification process, which is supposed to be just as effective as their current one. While I don't have a lot of knowledge on what it's going to be yet, I do know that they are shifting their strategy from the blue verification check mark to something a little bit different. That's going to help you stand apart from other accounts and other pages, which will show how authentic your brand is, and that ultimately increases engagement when people trust your brand. And another thing that you could do would be using a little bit of money to boost your post. So boosting posts is essentially a Facebook ad. You can boost a post that you've already had on your Facebook page, or you could create a post from scratch and boost that. And essentially you just decide on a budget and decide on a target audience, and you would boost your post, have it run for a duration, and Facebook will give you the metrics and the stats on how much money you're going to spend per day, how many people you're targeting, what your target market is, and so forth. But yeah, boosting posts and Facebook ads are another way to increase engagement, especially if you are a brand new shop and you're looking for your first breakthrough on social media. Using advertisements are a great way to do that.
Okay, so that's all that we have for today's webinar, but be sure to join us for our 5th and final webinar of our Facebook series. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to send us a message and we'll respond to them.
All right, thank you guys, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.